shot in just over 2 weeks across London. The dark comedy, The Man with Four Legs, tells the story of a documentary team who are making a film about a man with memory problems. The young crew are led on a surreal journey in search of the man's real identity. The film, which is out later this month. Let's just show you a clip before we speak to some of those behind it.
So, start on me, I'll feed him in with a question.
Well, no, hang on a sec. I think it's better if I say how I found him, because otherwise it's like you're interviewing me when I'm the presenter. So, you know, it's my thing, not your thing.
No,
so
you're
I
still
should be the one leading. Yeah, but it was my idea.
Should we just go for one?
Well, hang on, let me think.
3, 2...
Mr. Davis, we are fascinated with your story.
This is surreal.
Why'd you say that?
I knew you were coming.
You all right, Ethan?
The wind's been a bit of a bugger.
How long?
Not long now.
That's not a time.
Guys, stop looking at the lens.
Jesus Christ.
There we go, just a taster. Well, it was produced by Stuart Hall and written and directed by Ed Christmas. Lovely to see you both. Thank you very much for coming in.
Hi, thanks for having us.
We got the comedy side of it in that trailer, but the trailer moves on quite quickly to what becomes quite intense. Was that always a plan, to perhaps split it, kind of get people in with the comedy and then turn it into perhaps almost like a thriller?
Yeah, very much so. We sort of thought it'd be great to sort of kind of lull people in with a sort of false sense of security in a way. So we start on that sort of comic vibe, and then increasingly as the film sort of goes on, it becomes a little bit more sort of fractured between the reality that we see and the more subjective world of James that becomes a little bit darker and a little bit more surreal, which is where that sort of shift begins to take place, and it becomes quite fun that way, I think.
Yeah, James is the main character, this man who's got these memory problems. Stuart, just give us a little bit more about his character and where he takes these young boys, or that kind of journey they go on.
Yeah, so the film starts with we see James, and he's had a hit on the head, and he falls into a coma, and then when he wakes up from the coma, everybody that he thinks he knows has no idea who he is. So this young crew of filmmakers follow him to try and find out what's happened to him, and as the story progresses, it's clear that they actually care more about making a film than the subject matter, James, of their film.
Yeah, let's just take a look at another clip from it, and this is where things are starting to get slightly more serious. Here it is.
It's about, or should be about.
Should be about love, relationships, freedom, people finding themselves, lost people finding themselves. Should be about the last calm citizen. That's you, Ethan. You're the last calm citizen. How does it feel? A lost soul in a sea of lost souls. You are the subject of the documentary, Ethan. What do you have to say? That's you, Ethan. A lost soul in a sea of lost souls.
It does feel quite intense by this point. The idea of mockumentaries, they have been well done, and they've been done on television and films a lot. How did you want to make sure this stood out in that kind of genre?
Well, I think with this, people often think in terms of mockumentaries as being sort of a purely comic piece, where this obviously has the sort of darker side to it, and also the idea, of course, that the film has been edited. It's not a found footage, as some people might think it is. So it's been a piece that has ultimately been created and manipulated, which are part of the themes that are throughout the film. So that's part of that.
Yeah, the process of making films, not easy, very difficult. And you did it in 15 days. Why?
So, budget, for one, but Ed wrote it to be made on a small budget and to be shot quickly, and the whole shooting it like a documentary means that you can do it with one camera, which helps with the budget, helps with timing, and we just had an incredible crew, an amazing cast, and everybody just pushed in together, and yeah, we got it done in 15 days.
It's amazing what we can do when people all pull together like that. You know?
And all set in London, you worked with the authorities to make sure you kept it above board to some extent. There would have been guerrilla ways of doing this, but you didn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I wanted to be, as it was on my head as producer, yeah, I wanted to definitely be above board. So yeah, the film council and everybody and location managers were just were great and so helpful. They knew that we were working to a budget. They helped us with that budget, and we got to shoot in some incredible locations like the Victoria Park that you see in the trailer there. So yeah.
Well, lovely to hear about it. Thank you so much for joining us this lunchtime. That's Stuart and Ed. And the film itself, it is called The Man with Four Legs. It will be available on Amazon and iTunes later this month, the 20th of March. OK, stay with us, still to come.